Why was everyone so upset about this? Why was everyone up in arms about this?
Because some women were like, I would never do any of these things ever. And then some
What's wrong with that? What's wrong? Like, why was everybody like, oh my God, these whores with their preferences? Like,
I think people were overreact, but the way that, like, I do think that there were women who were like, you need to come with a certain amount of, like, it just had that, like, what is the word? I don't even know how to describe this. Or like
they were entitled? Like they were gold diggers? Like what?
No,
what?
I don't even know. And it's not even I have a problem with it. It's just that I don't personally have a problem with these as dates, I guess.
I feel like people
like somebody was saying, like, you need to spend a certain amount of money on me in a first date for me to know how much, like, you, like, think of me. And that sounds stupid to me. Like, that was, like, the reasoning behind a lot of things that I heard was, like, I don't know how much you like me unless you spend, like, money on me, or else, like, that's not, like...
Those people are monsters.
Yeah, I personally don't.
Do you think they're monsters?
Yes.
Not monsters.
If I heard a woman say that, like, I mean, honestly, that would be it. Like, the first date, you think I should spend a bunch of money on you? I mean, and
I think you have to know your audience. You, like, know, like, how much money somebody can spend on you or not. So if you're asking for, like, fucking, like...
But I don't, like, isn't there... this is just me.
Yeah.
Isn't there a piece that's like, yeah, be who you are out the gate? Like, why even fucking pretend that you want to be with somebody who makes a normal amount of money?
Okay.
But that's kind of like,
I
there's
agree.
a part
That's
of me
real.
that's
I agree
like,
with that,
just
but,
if that's who the fuck you are, then just be
but
that
I don't
person.
think it's... But I think that a lot of women don't even think it's connected to that. It's just that they think that they're supposed to go on a really nice first date. And then after that, it's like, whatever. I think it's just about, like, you need to prove to me how much you want to go out with me by taking me on this type of nice first date.
What do you think about the fact that, like, goes along with, like, the notion of, like, he should pick you up?
Oh, I don't give a fuck about that. I'd rather drive. I don't really want to drive with somebody on a first. I want, like, an exit plan just in case. I want to drive myself. I don't really like being picked up. Like, I like to drive.
I feel like people were personally upset about this because I think this is where a lot of men would take women on first dates. And I think men were triggered because I think a lot of men fall under one of these.
Boy.
And I feel like...
A lot of these aren't bad dates.
And no, it's not. But they were being judged.
Yes.
And so they had this big reaction to feeling judged.
Yes, I agree.
They were like, no way, you know, like...
Did you see a bigger reaction from men, or did you see a bigger reaction from, like, women, you think?
I think it depends on, like, what you follow on social media. But I saw a lot of women, like, laughing at the list. And a lot of women were basically saying, like, it's not about the money, don't bring me to a chain. Like, a lot of women were saying, like, don't bring... Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Just, like, put thought into the date.
And maybe that's a fake. Like, maybe that's not real. Like, maybe that's me. But that it is, like, you couldn't think of any, like... We could have gone to, like, I don't know.
That's like putting no creativity, no energy into it. Like, yeah.
I don't know. And that also is, like, a class thing, I think, too. Like, I want something, like...
Nice.
I think that's opposite.
I don't actually don't even want to get dressed up for a first date. I think that's weird. Like, I want you to kind of, like, see me as is. Like, I'd rather go on a nice date when I can actually enjoy you or enjoy the food. Like, going on a nice first date, I don't feel comfortable. You don't feel comfortable. Like, I don't want to go to sit at a white tablecloth or, like, wear heels. Like, that's not me. I'm not comfortable. You're not comfortable. Like, I'd rather go sit at a bar.
But you engage in bird talk.
I am a bird sometimes, but it's not like the guy I want to be with. It's not the person who I want to be necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Like, and also, like, those, like...
I didn't say you were a bird. I said you engage in bird talk. Like, I feel like you and I both are, like, in circles with people who would scoff at this list and would say it's disgusting and they would never go on a date and they would only date athletes.
Yes.
Both of us are, like, close to people like that.
Yes, I agree.
That's why I said you, like, engage in that kind of conversation.
I for sure engage, yeah.
And I think a lot of...
I have bird tendencies.
There's a lot of... I didn't say all that.
I think I do sometimes.
I don't. I think you want to.
I wish I did.
You wish you were a bird, but you're not.
I can't be.
You fuck with niggas who are birds. What's the name for that? The men who...
They're just
want
birds.
You for your money.
It's worse. It's worse. Never mind. I can't even say it.
Sorry, defamation. We don't get sued.
Yeah, don't sue me, bro. Oops.
I don't care.
Tell your mom. Sorry.
Big petty. But all the women that I know that feel like that think that all men are trash. And that's like the basis of a lot of that belief is
Yeah.
like, you're not going to bring anything to the table but money.
But your money.
So
But men
you
do
better
with their
have
pockets.
you better have money. Like that's a lot of the women. Like
Yes.
you're gonna cheat on me, you're gonna mistreat me, you're gonna do all these things, and
So
I'm
give
gonna
me the
pretend
bag.
like I don't notice
So give
as
me the
long as
bag.
you give me money.
Yeah.
and it becomes like this exchange. So like the trade off for the fact that like I would go on for coffee on a first date is that like I want emotional intimacy and I want trust. Like you're not gonna be able to just buy me. You're gonna have to like be a quality human. So there's like I don't know. There's just like different wants in relationships. So that's why for me it's like.
Like it's stupid to my thing. Like when I saw this was like, if you don't want to go on these dates, that's fine. Like don't date men who would go on these dates, I guess. But then also,
Chipotle's bad.
Chipotle's a terror. I actually have. I know somebody who would go on a Chipotle first date.
Wow.
Do you guys? Could I ask you guys each a question here on this?
Yes.
Do you guys think that because I've had some experience dating women who have that attitude that you just referred to,
Which
or
one?
just like sort of a fatalistic, like, well, people just cheat and they, like,
Yeah, like I'd rather cry in a Bentley than a whatever a
yeah,
girl car
or
is.
just treating like all men like their dogs and whatever. And in my experience with those relationships, it's like
dumb.
it is so like do you think that women understand how much they are creating that vibe? Like it makes it a shitty relationship. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't like. I've been in that position where I'm trying to convince them like, no, I'm being fucking earnest with you. Like, please don't treat me that way. But it's like their mindset is stuck, kind of. Do you feel like that's like I see that in your generation more maybe? Like
I think it's a childhood trauma thing for a lot of people, to be totally honest. Like a lot of the people, and this is just from knowing people. I'm thinking of a couple of people specifically that I grew up with that are still like that, and I think about their childhoods, and I think about the fact that like their daddies weren't shit. Like honestly,
both women I'm talking, you're dead on.
yeah, their dads weren't shit, and like either what their dad had to provide was money, or he didn't have anything to provide, and their mom was really bitter that the dad didn't have money. So I think it's like stems from having maybe like a lack of trust in others. Period. And then like add men on top of it. And I think it's also like
Like imagine like
it's a self-esteem thing too, because if you have money and what I'm going for is money, once we're married, I get that regardless of how you feel about me. I don't have to earn that really. If that makes sense. Like it's like I get that no matter what.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some like security around feeling like I don't have to be liked or loved. Like if I'm with someone wealthy, I'm going to get a check.
and I'll just do whatever and they'll do whatever and we'll just coexist.
And we'll just coexist, and it'll be
It
just
never
like,
works like that.
It'll just be like my parents' marriage, except I'm going to be happier because I'm not going to be broke like my mom.
And because I know what it is. I think people
Yeah.
convince themselves that they know what it is and they know what they're signing up for. And I don't think
Yeah.
anybody can sign up for the emotional toll of somebody not giving a fuck about you.
I don't think people think like, oh, I don't care if I get cheated on. And I'm like, because the other thing, and this is what I like, so like the people who date like NBA players and all this stuff, right? Like if you're with like the 1 in a million guy who, sees you as close to an equal. I know he doesn't see you as an equal. I'm sorry, hon. But like close to an equal and really respects you and what you do and like isn't frugal with his money so that like you have help in the house. That's great. But there's like a lot of women who
It's not
basically you think you're getting all this money because they give you a couple grand a month and you're living in this nice house. But you're also working 24/7 because they don't help with
with the
childcare. They don't help with taking care of the home. They don't do any of those things.
You're actually doing more.
You're doing more. You're actually
doing-
not really getting paid as much for what, like if you were doing full-time caretaking, it's probably what you would be getting paid anyway.
Right. And you're doing more because you're the mom.
Yeah. And so I just think it's a lot of like hopelessness in finding like a functional relationship and being like, well,
Yeah.
it better just be about this money then.
That's the perfect way to say it.
Yeah.
It's like hopelessness. It's like, okay, like if I can't find somebody who's emotionally stable or who's not going to be a cheater or whatever, I just might as well have a good standard of living.
But the downside to that is that anybody who's a quality human is running for the hills.
Yes.
So that's like the downside.
That's exactly
Because
what I'm
it's-
trying to
because
say.
it's a
It's a
turn-off.
self-fulfilling
Yeah.
prophecy.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
Completely.